Many view romantic relationships as the ultimate requirement for a successful life. It's the societal default, the presumed center all other life events orbit. When someone remains single long-term, we often search for a deficit to explain it. We assume it's bad luck, chasing impossible perfection, or fear of intimacy. However, psychology suggests a completely different explanation. For many, staying single is a deliberate choice based on how they process fulfillment and connection. Research indicates that many single people operate within a psychological framework that bypasses a romantic center. They're not waiting for a life to begin. They're already living one that is functionally complete. This state isn't defined by a lack of connection, but by a functional psychological architecture prioritizing autonomy and purpose for fulfillment. Most look to a romantic partner for this. But single people diversify these investments, using career, creativity, and friendships to provide the exact same structural stability. When these needs are met through various parts of life, the urgency to find a partner to complete the self diminishes. A relationship becomes an option rather than a necessity for survival. This diversification allows an individual to become self-sustaining. By meeting their emotional needs through multiple avenues, they effectively mitigate the experience of loneliness. This external fulfillment is supported by an internal mechanism known as an attachment style. It dictates how much closeness we need to feel secure. People with secure or dismissive avoidant attachment styles often feel internally complete without constant external validation. They don't view a partner as a missing piece of their identity. These individuals often have a high tolerance for solitude. For them, being alone feels natural and even restorative, serving as a time to recharge rather than a period of isolation to be escaped. Because they are comfortable in their own company, the social pressure to avoid being alone is largely negated. They don't feel the impulse to seek out company just to fill a silence. This doesn't mean they reject connection entirely. It means they possess the emotional security to exist comfortably without it. Society often labels long-term single people as too picky. The assumption is that their standards are unrealistic or that they are sabotaging their own chances at happiness. In reality, the brain develops pattern recognition from past experiences. After emotional burnout, it creates a filter. This selective mechanism protects limited emotional energy, prioritizing the preservation of mental resources by instantly screening out early signs of misalignment. The goal isn't to find a perfect partner, but to use self-awareness to identify foundational mismatches immediately. They are avoiding predictable friction, not chasing an impossible ideal. Under these conditions, staying single is a proactive strategy for self-preservation. It is a way to ensure that energy is only invested in connections that actually match their values. When we look at these factors together, self-determination, secure attachment, and pattern recognition, we see a coordinated psychological system. It is a way of living that functions independently of the romantic default. Singlehood serves as a valid destination, a stable state where fulfillment is managed through diverse, deliberate channels. It is a life lived by choice, rather than a gap between relationships. By developing a high comfort level with solitude, an individual removes the primary driver of poor relationship choices, the fear of being alone. This makes it easier to stay away from toxic or misaligned dynamics that others might accept out of necessity. While the cultural narrative assumes that staying single is a lack of success, the psychological reality suggests these individuals often have a clearer understanding of how to maintain their own peace. Ultimately, being single is not a failure to find someone. It is the realization that a fulfilling life can be built, sustained, and completely enjoyed on one's own terms.